welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia, and with me tonight we have Nick.
Hello.
And we have Brandon.
Hi, me.
And Tom's buried in a box somewhere, so he's not here today.
I mean, it's a problem, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It might be an issue, but we should probably deal with that at some point, just not right now.
We future Game Crunch crew can deal with it, not today's Game Crunch crew.
Yeah.
So, what's on the agenda today? It looks like Nick finished Bloodborne and Metroid Prime 2. So I'm sure.
Yeah, because they aren't on your list, so I'm guessing you finished.
They had to have been finished, like promised. And we got some Pokemon Rumble World, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, and a few little snippets of other things. You guys ready to get started?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? All right. So, I'll go first so we can get into what we were talking about briefly before the podcast. So, I want to start by saying this, all right? I was thinking about this the last couple days. There are moments when you, like, pick up a game and you realize it's, like, one of those, like, big moments that you'll always remember. I'll give you some examples. Like, probably the first time I played Super Mario Brothers, like, when I was a kid. That was a big deal. Super Mario World was really crazy with, like, all the alternate exits and, like, the graphics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You have Super Mario 64 with, like, you know, just the move to 3D and how it changed things.
Yeah.
You have Ocarina of Time, obviously, because of that just open world to explore. Then you have things like Ocarina of Time when they re-released it on the 3DS. Like, I remember sitting there and thinking to myself, like, I remember having this game on a console, and I never fathomed being able to have this in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had one of those gaming moments this week, and it was with Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, where I picked it up and I turned it on and I'm like, holy fuck. How in the hell is this game on a handheld and looking so nice? Like, let me preface a little bit. The game is a little bit janky, and it's not the 3DS's fault. The Wii version was kind of janky too. But,
yeah.
I mean, Shulk didn't look any better in the Wii version than it does in the 3DS. But, like, it's incredible to pick up and see this game. Like, because the draw distances are still intact, and that's the one thing that's crazy about this game. Nick, I don't know if you know a lot about it, because what we were talking about before, but the one thing about this game is, like, you're on these two, like, ancient beings, like, and they're, like, I don't know, supermassive. Like, you live on them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're, like, traversing the different areas, like, the place where you start Colony 9, it's on, like, the Bionis' foot. And then, like, you make your way up the knee, and then there's Gower Plains, and you can, like, look up, and you can see, like, the Bionis is head above you, and you can look down, and you can see, like, the water, like, way, way, way below, and just everything in between you can see for miles. Like, it's crazy the draw distances in there, and the amount of things that are in this world that have been realized. It's really well thought out, and it's so much to explore. How far did you end up getting when you played it, Brandon?
I see, that's the thing. That's why I wanted to go back through it, because I honestly don't remember. It's been so long, and so many things have happened since then that I don't remember it.
Uh-huh.
I know I played quite a few hours into it, but I could not tell you anything about that game right now if you asked me. It's one of those things where I know I played it, but I feel like I never did.
Well, this is the one thing about this game, too. Like, I think when I picked up and played it, too, I originally beat it when it came out, which was, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I remember like, the general story points, like, the big dots on the radar, but I don't remember, like, the little, or, I don't know, even somewhat moderately important story points. Like, I remember this guy, he's important because of this and this. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember exactly why. I'm like, I know he's important to the story, but I don't remember what his big thing is. So, I mean, that's kind of nice for me, too, is to go back through and see the story a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that did surprise me is that I picked up, and I don't know, maybe a few minutes, like, but I completely remembered the battle system, like, immediately. Like, I was able to pick up and just be like, okay, I get how this works on the 3DS. I remember the mechanics from last time I played it, and just boom. So I don't have I didn't hit the lull I remember hitting before, because this game takes a little bit of getting used to when you're playing it for the first time. because it doesn't play like a traditional RPG. If you remember, it plays more like an MMO.
Yeah.
So you have that. It's like a single player MMO. And so getting used to that battle system is interesting. And then you have all million quests to go on. This game literally could take forever. Like it's one of those things. Like if you got 8 hours into it, like you barely scratch the surface. It's one of those games. So I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. I would say, like, I think the irony in this is I'm sitting on my couch playing it on the 3DS, literally in front of my television, where I could just turn on Xenoblade for the Wii. But I do like it a lot on the handheld for some reason. They didn't really change anything. Texture's got a downgrade, for sure. So that's known. But in terms of gameplay, everything's there. There's nothing extra. They did add, like, a collection mode into like the main menu of the game where you can spend like coins that you earn in the game or from Street Pass or from your Shulk amiibo if you're one of the 5 people that has one. And you can scan those in to get coins to like get songs from the soundtrack, which you can play through the 3DS even when the cover's closed, which is great because the soundtrack in this game is literally one of the best soundtracks, period. So that's always amazing. I loved too when I walked up to the Gower Plains, which is probably one of my favorite tracks in the game, and you just hear it like slowly crescendo into the tracks as you're like walking through like the valley, and you just kind of see out, and then the music comes in, and it's a great experience. I really like it a lot. I should say, Nick, I should open this up for questions for you, since you were the one. Well, I guess Brandon too, if you have any, but I feel like you'd have less. So I know you had some questions about the game, but I don't really know where to answer them because it's hard for me having already played the game. So, is there anything in particular you want to know about?
Well, I just didn't really understand anything. Like, I didn't know anything about Xenoblade. All I knew was that it was part of that Op Rainfall thing, and they wanted to get it to come to America. I was just curious, how it played, how it felt. And
it's a massive JRPG MMO.
Which I can deal with because I play one of those on a daily basis.
Yeah. And it really plays a lot like that, too. And it's from Mistwalker, who I don't know if you're familiar with, but they did... Oh, Mistwalker? No, that doesn't seem right.
Are you talking about the people that did, like, not Last Remnant, Lost Odyssey?
No. That's just why I'm like, that's not right. No, it's the guys that did... What is that game called? I'm going to blank on everything now. Bait and Kados. They did that. They did... They did, like, the original Xeno Saga.
Are you just trying to remember, like, the developer's name?
Yeah.
Xeno Saga? Isn't that Square?
No. It's Monolith Soft.
Wait.
There we
Monolith Soft, yep.
Monolith
They did.
Soft, yes.
They did Xeno Saga episode 1, 2, and 3. They did the Xeno Freaks. I never heard of that. Bait and Kados, like you said. Super Robot 10... Tyson OG Saga Endless Frontier.
Disaster Day of Crisis. I forgot that they did that.
Yeah.
I so hope they bring that on the Virtual Console.
They did Project X Zone.
They also apparently helped with Animal Crossing New Leaf, Pikmin 3, and A Link Between Worlds. So that's
cool. And Skyward Sword.
Okay.
Yeah, Nintendo has been having them do some work. Obviously they didn't do any like super major work on those games, but I know Nintendo's had them do like some support work for some of their games. So that's where a lot of that came from. But, I mean, their big, like, focus titles would be, like, Disaster, some of the Xeno Saga games, Bait and Kados, for sure. Bait and Kados is huge. And so those are their big things. Yeah,
it's kind of funny thinking that they went from Xeno Saga to Xenoblade. It's like, it's actually kind of funny.
Well, I remember Iwata saying, too, like, because originally when the game came out, it was called, like, Minato, something. And then... Iwata let them rename it to Xenoblade in homage to the Xenosaga games.
It's weird.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Nick, it plays like an MMO. Like you select your attacks, and then they they don't not really queue up, but you kind of have to wait a second for it to like get ready, and you can move yourself around in real time at all times. You never like leave the battle screen. If you want to run away from battle, you literally just run away. So that's nice. It's got a really forgiving death system too, because it does that thing where you'll just walk through an area and you'll just be like right now, I'm in this one area and I had to go get this item and it was driving me crazy because the item...
I wonder if I can kill that thing. Nope.
No. It's not that. Well, it's like, if you highlight the enemy, it will tell you its level. So I had to go get this. I had to go get this item like for this quest, like this key like story quest, and it was literally like 5 inches away from like a level 86 monster, and I'm only level 27. And so like if it heard me get too close, it would like start attacking. When it's attacking, you can't pick up items. So it's like, fuck, and it like 3-hit kills you. But then you just nothing. You don't lose anything. There's no penalty. You just kind of like warp back to the last key location that you were at, and then you can just kind of start out again, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I was curious as to how it played, because I do want to get a new 3DS eventually, and I want to find a list of games to buy for it. So I think I'm definitely going to buy this and play through it because it seems pretty interesting. I never really looked into it. So
yeah, I mean, and it honestly is the only new 3DS exclusive game. So I mean, I guess if you want a new 3DS game, it's pretty much your only choice. But it does use a lot of the features that are on there. Like it uses the extra buttons, it uses the C stick, and you can actually. I did appreciate that you could change like the spin quality of the. I don't know what word I'm looking for. Just like how fast it will like turn the camera and everything. Like it gives you a whole bunch of options with those kind of things. So I turned up the sensitivity for like the stick, so like we'll spin really fast, which is great. Like it's more like what you would expect it to be with a second stick. And I know some people have had issues with the way it controls, because it has you going from like the circle pad to the D-pad, because the D-pad's where you select moves that you want, and then you're back on the circle pad. But I don't know, it didn't take me very long to get used to. It worked pretty well. It did take a million years to download, forever, because of a 3 gig game. But it did. I did appreciate that they had the Gower Plains music playing in the eShop, so that did make it a little bit more enjoyable. Even though I ended up going to bed before it finished. But any other questions?
No, I mean, I honestly I didn't know it had, it played like that. But like I said, I'll probably buy it. I'm hoping to buy a new 3DS this summer. I'm hoping they're gonna announce like a special edition of the 3DS. I'm gonna want.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go from there, because it's really, besides getting Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, there's no reason for me to have a new 3DS.
Well, the rumor is they're going to have the smaller new 3DSs, not just
That
the XL,
too.
coming soon. So
I mean, I want to weigh my options. I don't want to just buy a $200 system and be like, oh, wait a minute now.
Although I think I would have a hard time going from the large screen to the small one, because you're on a large one right now, right?
I went from the small to the large. Mm-hmm. And depending on how small the small one, like if the small one is the same form factor as the original 3DS, fuck no, I'm not using that. Because that was, I never used my original 3DS because of that. It was terrible.
Yeah, it's a little bigger than the original 3DS, but not much. So, I don't know. I enjoyed the extra real estate, so I couldn't see myself going back down to it. Yeah. And also, too, with a game like Xenoblade, like, the extra real estate's really nice with the draw distances. Yeah, I mean, it's just blown up, so it's not like it's that huge of a deal. But it's still just nice to be able to see, like, into the expanse, like, at every inch you can. So, there's nice. And I love the story, too. Like, the story, like I said, this game definitely takes a little bit of getting into. Like, it's definitely a slow burn RPG. I knew that going into it this time because that's what I had already played, and I had gotten slightly burned out at the beginning. But once you get into the story, like, it really picks up. And it goes to a lot of different places you never expected it to go, both physically and, like, story-wise. So I think that's interesting, too. So, like, I should really enjoy it. I would say, like, if you're hesitating, for anyone that's listening, if you already own the game, I would say it's up to you. Like, I do kind of just like having it on the handheld. It's kind of nice, even though I had already played it. So it's a bit redundant. Like I said, most of the time I'm playing it on my couch in front of my TV anyways. It's not a huge difference, like, quality-wise. So I really like that. But, yeah, I definitely recommend the game to anyone that's not playing it, especially if you have a new 3DS, because you don't have to pay GameStop's exorbitant prices for it.
Basically.
Well, there was a point where they were charging $90 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're freaking ridiculous.
Yeah. So
$90 for a used copy of it.
Well, it was one of those ones, like, if you remember, too, like, the big controversy was, like, the copies were, like, new. They were new, and, like, the Nintendo codes weren't even used, the game wasn't even used, but they were, like, basically open packages, and they were selling them for $90. as opposed to what their like sealed copy would have been, which would have been 60, which is a bit ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, there are some people who've called this game like the second coming of JRPGs because it really invigorates the JRPG like genre, and I agree with that. Like I do absolutely think this is a game that's worth playing. Like I said, it is a slow burn, it is a long game, and it takes its time getting into the story. But like once you get into it, it's worth it. The other thing I would say too, if you do start it, do not feel the need to do every quest. You will burn out like crazy. You will not do it. Like I'm
gonna do it.
There's a better chance of you finishing Bloodborne than you doing every quest.
I'm gonna finish Bloodborne, you shit.
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm curious too.
I'll get to that when it's my turn to talk.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, let's delay the inevitable here. So that's my Xenoblade. Unless you guys have any other questions on it, like I said, I really enjoy it. I do recommend picking it up, but I don't have anything else to say. Did you guys? And no more questions?
No.
I mean, that's all I wanted to know.
Yep.
Yeah. So Tom will probably be disappointed because I'm sure he wants to play it again. He did say he was jealous. I know when I said I was downloading it. So and like I said, it is a great game. I think me and Tom both agreed it's like one of our favorite RPGs. Like it's fantastic. So, anyways, on other things, I finished Mario 64. It's Mario 64. I just really wanted to say it. Yeah. It still looks as crisp and nice all the way through. I realized though as I was playing, I sucked a bit more at Mario 64 than I had previously, but I think it's just because it's been so long since I played the game. Like there were certain jumps I couldn't make, and I was just like, I'm so fucking stupid. I keep on turning the camera, like in the ghost house. I kept on falling all the way down to like the cellar, like underneath the carousel where the carousel is, and I'd walk all the way back. And it was just pissing me off. But yeah, the game's great time. Definitely recommend picking up. And like I said, it does look a bit crisper. Like I think they did something to make it look a little nicer, but it's still not super nice. It still looks like an N64 game. So
okay.
And then last but not least, finished up Peace Walker. Yeah.
Go on.
It's great. I don't remember where it was when I talked about it last time, but I finished up all the quests. Like, it does have a really nice resolution to its story and to the boss's story, because that's basically, like I said, what it's all about. It's about Snake. Snake kind of gets involved in this conflict because he wants to basically figure out the truth of what happened to the boss and if the boss is still alive. So that's like part of his main story there, and it explores all that. But it does all end up tying back into the franchise as well in just more meaningful ways. Like you kind of get to see the formation of, Outer Heaven, and I guess I don't know. I haven't played Ground Zeroes, but I hear like Ground Zeroes kind of takes place literally right at the end of this. So
yeah,
some of those things like from the end of Peace Walker literally tie right into the beginning of Ground Zeroes. So you have that. It has one of the most crazy Metal Gear endings I've ever seen. Like, because it has an ending, but then you have to do a couple more, like, their main story quests, but they're kind of silly. And then you have, like, your actual final boss battle. And, I mean, without getting any spoilers away, but you're fighting Metal Gear. That's not surprising, so I'll say that.
Oh my god, Metal Gear!
I know. But it's also, like, with a character that you didn't expect, wearing less than you would expect. And,
it's Raiden again, isn't it? Oh, God.
And playing, like, the most super anime music I've ever heard. And I'm like, wow, this is
it really is Raiden again, isn't it?
It's like, this is really weird for a Metal Gear game. But, like, I still love the mechanics in that game. Like, it still plays so nicely. Even stuff that I thought might end up being frustrating ended up being fun. And I did like the base building mechanic a lot, which ties in a lot to your item upgrades. The story ended up being a fun little jaunt. It's, like I said, it's not full of itself. So I really did enjoy it. I do think it's worth playing. And I think a lot of people, because it doesn't have a number associated with it, don't think it's worth playing. But I would completely disagree. I think it's my favorite Metal Gear game for a lot of reasons. I had a lot of fun with it. It's got some really neat customization options, like I said. Like, you get to build your own Metal Gear. It's fucking rad. And
cool.
You have your base, which keeps on getting upgraded, which gives you new upgrades. And, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I do recommend playing it. And
Nice.
I don't know, unless you guys have any other questions for me, I'm all set.
Did you play it on Vita, or did you play it on... Oh, your collection, that's right. The collection that had it in there,
the Metal
right?
Gear Collection. They never, like I said, they never released the HD Peace Walker for Vita. They only released the PSP version of Peace Walker for Vita. So that's not really an option with Vita, which is, I guess, unfortunate, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I mean, it probably still looks decent enough, I would imagine, with the PSP graphics. Well, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, it does look really nice on the TV. But, when you're on the handheld that size, graphics can take a bit of a hit, and it's not that noticeable. And like I said, it controls great. Like, I do like the consolidation of the controls, because it made it a lot better. Because they're not trying to deal with all the bullshit that they do on the other systems, so...
All right, that's nice.
Yeah. All right. So, who wants to go next?
I can go because mine's super short.
Okay.
Mine's also super short.
No, mine's shorter. I literally played one game.
No, mine's shorter.
No. Wait a minute. It's the first time I've had this argument.
So anyway, a new free-to-play game came out on 3DS, and I decided to download it because fuck it, why not? Pokemon Rumble World came out. Yeah, it's a game.
Yeah. Is it a fun game?
Honestly, I'm enjoying it, and I'll give you the reasons why. It's something you can just turn your brain off of, and just fucking be like, all right, I'm gonna play as a Pikachu, and there's electricity. Let's go over to the water ones, and then they'll fight the water ones, and then we'll capture them. And they're cute little toys with little wind-up things on them. And I like collecting things. I like collecting Pokemon, so collecting toy Pokemon while actually making my Pokemon fight them. And there's like a overarching story, kind of, sort of, where some magician captured 11. Can you do better than him? And then you capture more, and then the magician turns out to be evil. Ooh, who saw that coming? And you have to go to his place, and you have to defeat his mega evolved Pokemon, which I actually think this might be the first time I've seen this. I don't know if it's ever been done in any other game, but have they had a mega evolved form of Alakazam yet in any of the Pokemons?
I don't know. If they did, it probably would have been the Alpha Sapphire,
Omega
Sapphire,
Ruby, and I didn't play that one that much, so
and I played it,
sure.
But a lot of the thing with the I don't know, Mega Evolutions is sometimes you do a lot of legwork to get the items.
Yeah, and it's very convoluted. So
he's in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Okay, yeah, that was my first time seeing a Mega Evolved form of Alakazam because I didn't see it in that one, and it was really weird, especially since it was a little toy version, but it was also huge and big. Essentially, you're playing Gauntlet, all right? You're just throwing things at things, and if you have the better things, they die, and there's a chance that you get to collect those things. It's free, and it actually is kind of enjoyable. I like going through the different areas and having to go to different places and hire balloons to capture different Pokemon, so then I can go to other islands and fight the ones that are weak against it. It's an interesting idea. I've never played the other Rumble games, so I'm guessing it's just like those, except this one's free to play. And you get gems. That's the currency in this. That's the one that you'd have to spend real money on. Except I don't really see the point of it, because where in the other Pokemon game, the battle one, or Shuffle, that one, in Shuffle, the other free-to-play Pokemon game, you had to actually go out and street pass people so that you could get currency to do certain things and continue on when you got into the higher levels of the game. But in this one, you can literally connect to the internet once every single day, and 3 people will visit your game. And every 5 people that visit your game, you get so many diamonds, and the diamonds are the actual currency of this game. So it seems very easy to play this game without having to spend money, and I actually enjoy it quite a bit. I like going to the new places and seeing the fire Pokemon, and because each island has a different kind of Pokemon, so maybe it's this one's bird and this one's electricity and this one's flame, and it's okay, well, what mission am I on right now? Okay, what Pokemon is that I need to defeat? Alright, so then I'm going to go to this island, and when I go to this island, I'm going to fight these and try to get one that's strongest so that I can take it back and beat the shit out of that boss Pokemon. And it's a Gauntlet-style arena where all the Pokemon gang up on you, and you press either the A button or just walk next to it and auto-attacks, but I found it easier to continuously spam the A button to do your attack instead of just doing the auto attack, because you can get more attacks out. And yeah, I mean, it's a free-to-play Pokemon game that isn't shit, in my opinion. So if you want to play it, give it a try. And that is literally all I've played this week.
Sounds pretty nice.
It's pretty good. I liked it.
I was not a big fan of the other ones, so I don't think I would give it a try, but I can understand, I mean, it's nice that they're doing some more free-to-play stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if they keep up this sort of thing, I see a lot of people that are, condemning it to hell and everything, and, saying, oh, well, it wants you to spend currency, and it's ridiculous that it wants you to buy the balloons to go to the new islands, and blah, 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 blah. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, are you stupid? It's so easy to get currency. Did you actually look into what you have to do? Because, I've seen so many articles that have bitched about it and been like, it's atrocious the way they're doing the free-to-play on the 3DS. But, it's not. It's really simple and really easy to not pay money to continue to play the game. None of the stuff that I've found so far has been locked behind a paywall. Mm-hmm. So, there are a lot of people complaining and saying that sort of shit, and it's not true. Try it out for yourself and see, because I don't believe they played more than an hour of the game before being like, this is shit. And I've been seeing that in a lot of different places, and honestly, I think fucking people need to give things more time before instantly writing it off. Because all I've seen is people writing it off, and literally the things they are complaining about, I have not run into at all in any of the time of playing the game. So, I don't know. Maybe they're stupid.
That's very possible. I don't know. And people, I don't know. Everyone gets...
They like clicks.
Yeah.
IGN likes clicks. Everyone likes clicks. And that's probably why they're doing it.
Well,
but,
like to get
they should probably give out actual
play.
Information instead of bullshit. So, whatever.
Well, I mean, even, there's just a lot of people who just don't like to give games a chance. They like to complain before they try them out and see what they're like. Mm-hmm. So, it's pretty common, I guess.
I'm talking about, actual, write-up articles that are saying this sort of shit that isn't true. Flat out is not true. Uh-huh. Reputable, I say with bunny ear quotes, sites, different ones, saying, this is atrocious, I can't believe Nintendo's going down this path, it's ridiculous, they're gonna die if they continue this sort of shit. Uh-huh. And it's none of what you have written in this article is true at all. I don't understand what game you played, because it's not the same one I'm playing. Are you stupid? That's basically how I feel. And they're just writing it off. Probably because they're pissed off that they're still doing their Nintendo Directs instead of giving them exclusive information instead. Anyway, that's another whole fucking can of worms.
Yes, that is. So, Nick, why don't you wow us with your gameplay?
I actually didn't play much at all this week. The only time I had to play games was probably this weekend. Sunday, I played a good amount of Final Fantasy XIV, just continued to level up my Black Mage and continue on with story quests and do raids to get some gear. Mm-hmm. And then I tried to play Borderlands, the pre-sequel, but it kept crashing. It crashed 5 times in a row.
What are you playing it on?
I was playing on my PS4.
Wow, and it's having hard crashes in the PlayStation 4 version? That's
it
ridiculous.
Kept crashing out and giving me an error code, and I restarted the game, restarted the console. I did everything but reinstall the game, because that would have taken 5 hours, because it's got an 8 gig update and all that other bullshit. But I was like, well, I guess I'm not playing this right now. So when I gave up trying to play Borderlands, I decided to, and I'm not sure if anybody who follows us even watched, but I was streaming Axiom Verge for about 2-3 hours, and I got a lot farther into that game, and the story has started to flesh out a lot more, and the gameplay is getting a bit better. The amount of weapons that I've found now have really, the diversity of weapons in this game compared to the other game I compared to is Metroid, have really impressed me. There's one weapon that you shoot it and it shoots in all different directions. It's kind of wacky, but I like it a lot. It's just really fun. And as I go through, I'm liking it a lot more than I did originally. I mean, not that I hated it when I first played it. I was just kind of wanting originality and I wasn't getting it. But as I go through, it's starting to create its own, footprint. So it's really good. The music's really good. The level design's pretty good. I like it a lot. But other than that, I mean, I haven't really played much. I don't remember what I.
How's Bloodborne going? That's what I really want to know.
That's what I'm curious about. I
haven't played Bloodborne, and I haven't played Metroid Prime. I just, like all last
literally
week.
All last week. You're like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
All last week, I was fucking tired and didn't play shit.
I know, but I'm just saying, like last week's podcast, you swore up and down. You're like, nah, you're gonna see. I'll have more to talk about next week.
Well,
nope.
I also said I was going to play every single Zelda.
And it was 2 weeks ago that we gave him shit that were like, yeah, you're never going to finish Bloodborne. It's like, yes, I am.
True.
Gosh.
Just because I'm not playing it 1 week doesn't mean I'm never going to play it again. I really do like it.
It's been 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay,
that's a little bit more.
But I did play it after that first week again.
Okay.
So,
I don't think it's happening. That's my verdict. The verdict.
How far are you right now?
Okay. Go into Old Yarnum, and it's the one that's on fire.
Yeah.
And there's the guy who's shooting you with the Gatling gun. I'm like traversing around there right now.
So literally the same exact place you were before.
Pretty much.
Okay, just checking.
So, again, never finishing. So, yay! Yay! And when are you going to start Metroid again? I thought that was the big thing on the agenda last weekend.
Yeah, it was, and then it wasn't. I got up Saturday, and I was like, I don't feel like hanging out with anybody today. I'm going to play Final Fantasy 14 all day and be lazy.
Uh-oh. Turning into one of those people. Cancel all my meetings, guys. It's Final Fantasy 14. Don't want to be social.
I work 5 days a week, 9 hours a day. I got my one free day. I was like, fuck it. I'm playing Final Fantasy all goddamn day long.
Well, if you worked 5 days a week, wouldn't you have 2 free days?
Well, 5 days some weeks, 6 days.
Oh my god.
I told you I fucking played games Saturday and Sunday this past week.
Should take that hole a little deeper, Nick. We'll see. We'll come back to this again soon, I'm sure.
I'm sure we will.
All right. So you guys ready for news?
Not until I hear a damn song.
I was reading something. Here's the news. It's for yous. We don't have much news. Yay.
Well, we do have a bit, but nothing too major. A bunch of announcements, I guess. Monster Hunter Story is announced for the 3DS.
Yay.
Yay. Nice. It sounds like it's a story-based RPG. At least, I don't know if it's official like that or not, or if it's just speculated based on what people have seen in the trailers. But it definitely did not look like it was your typical Monster Hunter game. Which is neat, I guess. It's nice to see Capcom kind of stretch out a little bit. Seems like they have some interesting universe stuff in Monster Hunter. So, that seems neat. All right. There's rumor. Uncharted Trilogy coming in September. It was listed on a French website for a little bit. I don't remember if it was Amazon or not. But September 30th, it was for the PS4. Had the 3 Uncharted games from the PS3 on it, surprisingly, when it's named Uncharted Trilogy. Although I was disappointed that they did not put Golden Abyss in there, which may not be the best of the 3, but still it's kind of a surprising omission.
I wouldn't include it under required playing for Uncharted.
Yeah, it's better than the first one, though.
No.
Yeah, definitely.
I have to disagree. No, when I played Golden Abyss, it was one of those games. I guess I'm the only person in this call who does this because you make fun of me for it all the time.
Okay.
But I'll pick up a game and I'll start playing it, and I'm like, I don't like this, and I won't play it for half a year.
But see, the thing is, even if you like the games, you'll pick it up and you'll stop playing it, and then you just won't play it again.
No, I play this again, but Golden Abyss, when I played it, I was like, this is okay, and it was just it was pretty mediocre for an Uncharted game. The first Uncharted game I marathoned probably within inside of 2 days. And when I was halfway through the first one, I was buying the second one.
See, I didn't like the first one that much. The first one got so... I had a lot of frustrations with it, and it got so bad at one point that I put it down for a couple weeks. And I was like, I'm finishing this because I don't like to start games and not finish them, as opposed to Nick. But I had very, very little interest in going back and playing the second one. Actually, the first one, it was to help facilitate me finishing the first one, I'd turn the difficulty down to easy. So it was getting so frustrating. And I think that's the only reason I actually enjoyed like the later parts of the game, because you just I kept on getting the kill rooms, like where it's literally like, all right, you're in this room, there's like 70 guys like pouring through every orifice of this room.
Exactly. I know what you mean by that.
Yeah, and the controls
I mean,
were like
I guess
shoddy,
I'm just better than you at Uncharted.
and Nathan Drake just kept on wanting to jump off the edge and commit like suicide at every turn.
So I was one of the stupid PS3 buyers that bought it when it was $600. And that was like my first game I got with it. And 2 wasn't out at the time, but I wasn't even thinking about giving 2 the time of day because of what you're mentioning. And I didn't for the longest time. And like,
the surprising thing is 2 is so much better.
2 is fantastic. It is easily one of my favorite PlayStation games.
I noticed that with like when I first was playing my PS3, the 3 main staple games, Killzone, Resistance, and Uncharted, like the first ones were pretty rough but passable. Maybe not with so much with Killzone 1. Like I wouldn't even touch that game.
Killzone 1 is
Killzone 1 was
horrendous.
on PS2, so I mean, I think that's part of the problem.
Well, the game is still like there are games from that era that are leagues better than Killzone.
Yeah,
and it didn't need to be like that. Yeah, that's absolutely
okay. Fair enough. Yeah,
like
it was just not good.
The original Killzone came out at the same time as Metroid Prime 2, if I remember correctly.
And didn't Black come out around the same time as Killzone? And wasn't that just like infinitely better?
Which game?
Black, the game that was just called Black, which like it had to do with like having so many guns and like all the ammo
I know what
and everything.
You're talking about. I don't remember day and date with that one. I think Black was a little bit later. But
yeah,
I mean,
it was around the same time. Like it was a few months or something. Yeah, it was around the same era.
Killzone was like, it honestly felt almost like a pre-Halo game. Like that's how out of date it felt.
Yeah, but my original point was like, with those 3 main staple games, obviously Killzone's the special one here because it started on PS2. It seems like they all got better with their sequels. Like Killzone 2 and Uncharted 2 are still some of my favorite PS2 games. Or not PS2, sorry, PS3 games, as well as Resistance 2. And then, like, Resistance 3 is kind of poop, and Killzone 3 was, hey... Actually, no, Killzone 3 was actually pretty good.
Killzone 3 was actually decent.
I like it.
And Uncharted 3 was also fantastic.
I never got to play Uncharted 3.
Uncharted 2 is still my favorite.
Do you have PlayStation Plus, Nick?
I do.
Did you pick up Killzone Mercenaries?
I had the game already.
Oh, because I was saying, that's actually, like, a surprisingly decent Killzone game.
It runs on a modified Killzone 3 engine, which is very impressive in my mind.
That makes sense.
That's way better than Killzone 4.
Yeah. I
you mean
can't
PlayStation
finish.
4 Killzone?
Yeah. Killzone 4 is horrendous.
You'll probably laugh at me, but Shadowfall was one of the first PS4 games I have.
Mm-hmm.
I am on the very last mission. The very last one when you're sneaking around.
Uh-huh. Oh my God.
I cannot finish it.
You know, though, I will give you credit at least because I have a lot of friends who like normally beat games and they could not stomach finishing that game, and you did better than most of them. So I'll at least give you minor credit, even though you still never finished games.
I'm so mad because I'm literally within the last 5 minutes of that game.
Oh yeah,
I have
literally are not
Killzone,
missing much at all. Like,
and I'm like, I cannot beat this. Like, and it's not even that I'm terrible at stealth. It's that the stealth detection in that level is terrible.
Oh yeah.
But this is getting farther from the point I was trying to make.
Well, we're going back to kill rooms now because like if you're at the ending of that, the literal ending of that is another giant fucking kill room, like with Uncharted, like a fucking 70, fucking 80 people just coming down upon you. It's just ridiculous and stupid, and I hated it.
Was a mediocre cakewalk.
Mm-hmm. Until that
get to the final mission, I'm like, fuck this game.
You know what made it really hard for me? I had it on the hardest difficulty that you could start out on, and I got to that mission, and then I was like, fuck!
And it's shit because the only 3 games I had was Knack, Killzone, and Injustice, and I was like, well...
Injustice is good. That's a good game.
I guess I'll play Knack. No, Injustice is good.
Knack was one of those games... Like, Knack is not a great game, but it honestly, like, it was a surprisingly okay game, I would have to say. I don't know if it's just the contrast of that and Killzone, but like Knack I actually finished and enjoyed.
I would give the sequel to that the time of day.
Yeah, like,
I would too.
Like Knack was one of those games that I finished and was like, well, this isn't great, but if they were going to go back and make a second one, like I bet it would be awesome.
It'd be like the Ratchet and Clank sort of deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so with going back to Uncharted, I'm not sure if I will get a collection.
No, I'm not.
I would, because I never played the third one.
I've played all three of those games. I have had my fun with all three of those games, and I'm at the point, like, I'm not sure if you guys have ever played a game enough where you're like, I do not need to ever play that game again. I am satisfied with that game.
Yeah.
And I'm good. That's how I am with the first three Uncharted. I will probably never play 3 again. I will definitely probably never play Golden Abyss again.
I never got to play that one.
One's a no. The only game I can see myself possibly revisiting is 2, but that's about it. At this point, I'm looking forward. Prettier. I'm looking forward to 4. That's the only Uncharted I want to play.
Yeah, I'm really excited for 4 too.
Yeah,
and I'm really like, I mean, I won't say that I'm totally opposed to. Like I said, this might make me sound like a hypocrite, but you know what? That's fine. I'm a hypocrite most of the time, anyways. Yeah. But like, I'm fundamentally against like rebuying HD collections with games that like, because with this, it's my PS3 is literally sitting on the same like shelf as my PS4, and it's not like they can make it look that much nicer.
No.
So I don't really see any point to it. But then, like again, I'm the same person who literally spent $10 on getting the Metroid Prime trilogy when. But I guess it's a difference because now it's just always on my system. Like I guess,
and it was $10.
Yeah,
it wasn't
$10,
like another $60 game. You know they're gonna make it $60.
Yeah, and same thing with Xenoblade. Like I mean, like I said, I'm mostly end up sitting on my couch, but it's those extra features. Like now it's portable. I'm okay with that. Now it's always on my system. I don't even have to put a disc in. I'm okay with that. So like it has to have something like extra for me, like some extra incentive for me to do it. But like full priced HD re-release for something that I already own and don't have a lot of incentive to go back through again doesn't really excite me. I guess even in the case of the Metroid Prime Trilogy, like as you guys know, I went through and played through the whole thing after I downloaded it. I got more than my $10 out of that game.
Oh yeah.
And Xenoblade, I mean, I'm going to go through and play that again. I'm already a significant way through that. So yeah.
But
so
I think this will be a good trilogy for people to play who have never played Uncharted. If you like, if you
maybe
have
PS4, the last two, like
is
Golden Abyss in this or rumored to be in this?
It probably won't be.
Well, originally, like when there was a rumor floating around for a while that there's going to be an Uncharted like HD collection, and the original rumor actually had that in there, but apparently,
because I would play it if Golden Abyss was in it, because I missed that one completely. Because
a lot of people did too. Like that's why it's kind of surprising to me that it's not in there. Because that would add a bunch of value.
What does it tie into is my question. Like, is that going to be important for, like, the overarching story of Uncharted altogether? Or is that just one of those throwaway games?
Uncharted.
It's a side throwaway game, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how Indiana Jones is, you know? Like, I mean, honestly, even for the most part, the Uncharted trilogies doesn't really tie in that much to each other. I mean, it does have like a bunch of Nathan's story.
Quite
like
a big bit of two tied in with one. Which when like I started up 2 and I was playing it, I was like, holy shit, I haven't played 1 in like 3 years. I kind of remember that. Because like they made references back and forth between each other about like past adventures, which were the ones that you had already played from the last game, and it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's there is some tie-in. It's not super required, I would say, even in between them. But
I feel like 3 might be, at least, because I haven't played 3 at all. Like, honestly, that's probably super required.
The only thing that would make me buy this trilogy for PS4 is the fact that I just remembered how good the multiplayer is for 3.
Oh,
and
shit.
If the price, like, I will not pay full $60 for that game. Like, if I can get that trilogy for $30,
that was fun as hell.
But we'll see. I'll think about it, but I probably will not be getting it. But it's an interesting thing to see. And if you're a PS4 owner and have never played any of the Uncharted, I would strongly suggest buying that trilogy and playing through them.
Yeah, and I'm sure this is Sony's way of filling the gap that Uncharted was going. Well, I mean, you're not going to fill the gap with this, but attempting to fill that gap from Uncharted 4 slipping into next year is part of it, even though it had to have been in works for a while. And also totally lost that train of thought. I'm sure I'll come back to it. So, anyways, Uncharted. There we go. Next story. Don Matrick left Zynga. Finally. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So
who cares about Don Matrick and who honestly gives a shit about Zynga?
I know. That's the surprising thing. So, I mean, as you guys know, he left Xbox. The poor control of Xbox to go take poor control of Zynga. And there were people, I remember earlier this year, there were stories of like...
Didn't Xbox get better when he left, though?
Oh, yeah. And, and Matrick took control of the company after the founder of Zynga stepped aside. And I remember, though, stories earlier this year, like, analysts were calling for Matrick to be fired because the company was not performing nearly as well as it could have been. Granted, the free-to-play bubble had burst a little bit, so I don't know how much of that is his fault. And, I mean, if you look at the story that Zynga released along, like, the press release, you know, they know all the good things that Don Matrick did out of his time in the company. But he's leaving early, and he's leaving with a lot of money, and he's apparently going back to Canada. So, good luck, Don Matrick, I guess. And Zynga, I'm sure, will be better for it. So, next story.
I actually thought of a story. I was just scrolling through. Mind if I throw one out there real quick? Mm-hmm. Recently, this week, and actually, they announced the new Deus Ex game will be coming out sometime either this year or next year. There was a trailer for it, and it looked fan-fucking-tastic. And Human Revolution was a really, really good RPG. So, like, if this is anything like Human Revolution, hell yes. So, yeah, there's going to be a new Deus Ex game. Yay.
I think if I remember, it's the cover story for Game Informer this month. So if you feel like going to see that, you can head over to their website, or if you're one of the billion subscribers to it, I'm sure you have it at your house already. So
or in that email spam folder.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think I still have a digital subscription to it, and I'm pretty sure that's where it's going. So...
That's where mine always went. It was so weird. Mm-hmm. Like, even when I whitelisted it, it always still got sent to spam, and I don't fucking know how it did it. I don't know.
I don't know why people like digital magazines. I like getting stuff in the mail. So
I will say one other thing while we're on the topic of this with the whole digital magazines and that sort of thing. Power Up Rewards actually put back up the $3 PlayStation Sony PlayStation credit thing for like 3,000 of your points. So if you have like a stockpile of points and you don't have shit to spend it on, go get like $20 worth of PlayStation money. That's what I did.
Not a bad idea. I really isn't. So anyways, moving on. Level 5. Factor 5's way dead. Level 5 had a mini sort of Japanese conference this week. Announced a bunch of things. Fantasy Life 2 and Layton, Professor Layton 7 are coming. Yay! But they're mobile-based.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Like, this is one where, like, if you would have asked me what series I think Nintendo series would end up on a mobile phone, these would be very bottom of the list.
Well, I mean, these aren't Nintendo series. Nintendo's localized both of them.
True, but like, they're not on other systems. They're on Nintendo systems, is what I mean by that. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, these are Nintendo games. They're not on any other console. They're on the 3DS, and they're on the DS, and there you go. There's that. And they haven't ever been on anything else. So, like, to jump from that with, like, the dual screen and, like, you know, being able to check your inventory and see, like, the cutscene or, like, the dialogue up here and then try to solve a puzzle down here with, like, Layton and that sort of thing. I don't know how it's going to work on a mobile phone, and it just makes me be like, what are you thinking?
I feel like Layton would make more sense on a mobile phone.
Layton would make more sense, but Fantasy Life...
Fantasy Life is a bit, and I did hear that they changed Fantasy Life a bit. Like, the concept's still the same, but like the execution's a bit different. I haven't looked at like any footage of it, so I'm not quite sure how to explain it. But I did hear that they did make some obvious substitutions in that. Layton, like I said, that one's not too much of a stretch to figure out how they could make it work on a phone. And
yeah, I mean,
it would probably work good to some degrry on it.
It's just a weird game for like. If you told me Layton's gonna have its next entry on a phone, I'd be like, what?
Well, you ready for the actual weird part of that news?
Yeah.
It's also a card-based game.
What?
Yeah.
How does that work?
No fucking clue.
That actually sounds really interesting. Mm-hmm. I might play that.
I'm sure it's free to play. That's usually how those kind of games are. But yeah, it's a very interesting switch, to be sure. Yokai Watch, also from Level 5, is coming to the US via Nintendo. I don't know where this was announced or when it was announced, but apparently everyone knows now. I know, Brandon, you said you were kind of excited for it?
Yeah, because like last year and the year before last, this like blew up in Japan, and there were people that like it was basically like the second coming of Monster Hunter, where people take off work and stand in line for long amounts of times to like get things, and then they sell out and they get scalped online and all that good jazz. And like basically how Pokemon was when it first started, that was kind of the craze that Yokai Watch had in Japan like 2 years ago and last year as well. And I'm curious to see why, and I'm kind of excited because I've not seen anything on this. I just know it exists, like the title of it, and that it became a huge fucking phenomenon in Japan. So I want to see what all the buzz is about, and yeah, I'll probably check it out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be able to reach that same level of success though here. I don't.
Well, even if not, I would like to see like what all these people were fucking going out and like what stores had to be like. They literally put up signs. Like, I read articles where, like, they literally had to put up signs that were like, there is no more Yokai Watch things in here. If you're here for that, we don't have any. And like, their front window. Like, they had to do that at multiple stores just during normal weeks, not just, like, Christmas. Because they essentially were, like, the amiibos of Japan, more or less, are here. Where they're just fucking gone the second they get announced. And I want to know why that stuff took off so much. Like, I still see the appeal of Pokemon, even though it's still, you know, like, not the games, obviously, but, like, the cartoon's still marketed towards children, and it's not grabbing children here like it grabbed us when we were younger and everything. But I would like to see,
well, you know,
like,
most
what's
people,
grabbing the Japanese children now.
Most people aren't fond of grabbing children. It's kind of... People
I
look down
understand
on
what
these days.
no, that was very funny. I'm so glad you made that joke. I hate you.
You know that's probably the joke you were trying to make, and you're just
I meant like what's getting their attention.
By. You know, just
I was not.
Yeah.
If you named this episode "Grabbing Children," I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face.
Oh, you just... I think now it has to be the name.
I hate you.
Well, we'll call it "Grabbing Children and Giving Them Candy" by Brandon.
That part had nothing to do with anything. I haven't even said anything about that.
About what?
About, you know, what you just said.
What did I
I'm not going to say it, because if I say it, then you'll be like, oh, you said it, and I'm going to edit it in there. Fuck you.
Oh, Brandon. Oh, but, you know, to be fair, though, I did hear that the game is, like, it's definitely not targeted towards adults, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's definitely, it's a very, like, easy entry... kids game. I mean,
yeah, but they'll still probably give you the general like knowledge of what the fuck Yokai Watch is, which I would like to know. Because I mean, we're not getting the show, obviously, and I can't just watch that. So yeah, I'm curious. I want to know what the fuck it is. Like, if you say Yokai Watch, what comes to mind? Nothing right
Ghosts.
now. I want to. Well, yeah, Yokai, like that sort of thing. But yeah, it's like. What's the watch have to do with it? Is it like a capture thing? Does it like capture them inside of a watch? Is it like a iPhone-like watch, or is it like are they trapped? Is their souls trapped inside of the watch, or is it like a watch that like they're like the like the Power Rangers things where they use cell phones now to call their Zords and stuff? Is it like that with a watch and you control like spirits?
It's game,
like, what the fuck?
If that game has Zords, I'm fucking buying it day one.
So it's like I'm genuinely curious what the hell the hubbub is. What the hubbub is.
Hubbub.
So yeah, hubbub.
Hubbub.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. So there's actually, I just want to find this wording fast because it really made me laugh. Hold on one second. Okay, here it is. Yokai. They are not ghosts, monsters, or creatures. Yokai are quite simply yokai. They cannot be seen by the human eye, but they are everywhere. Whether born from the soul of a deceased human or an everyday object discovering its higher purpose, their personalities are distinctly human-like. So if they're not ghosts, but they can be born from the soul of a deceased human, what does that mean?
Spooky.
5 spooky, 3 scary?
I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, you think about it though too.
Like yeah, you're curious about it. Like, what does that mean? I would like to know that as well. I'm sure I'll figure it out in the game.
I'm not that curious.
I am.
I mean, it is kind of funny though how like these Japanese games targeted towards kids come out of like these very like creepy
Yeah.
Kind of like, I
Like,
mean,
have you read some of the Pokemon entries?
I was gonna say, like,
some of those are creepy as shit.
Cubone wears the
The
skull
skull
of
of
its
his dead mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I do that.
Oh, so you're Cubone.
Yeah. Or Nick Bone?
I don't like that. That doesn't have a nice ring to it.
Maybe I'll just name my Cubone Nick.
There you go.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Do that.
All right, moving on. Unity's coming to the new 3DS. Unity, like the
engine?
yeah.
Assassin's Creed.
Huh.
Oh yeah,
No.
that too. Oh, we have all the
God.
Assassin's Creed games on the new 3DS. They can be the exclusives.
I mean, I'll play 4 again on 3DS. I have no idea how the shit that would work, but okay.
Hey, Xenoblade works and it looks half decent, so it's possible. It's
I
possible.
don't think it is.
Possible.
So, I don't think they really announced anything more than that, really. But it does open up a new avenue for a lot
It actually it opens up a lot for, like, indie games, because a lot of indie games are made in the Unity engine. So, like, yeah. We could see a lot more indie games. Like, hardcore indie games, like, deep indie games. Also, apparently, there's a rumor, and I don't know what the fuck his name is, the person that made Meat Boy, he's been, and Binding of Isaac, he's been posting up things, like, hinting that Binding of Isaac might actually be coming to the 3DS. So,
well, I mean,
I kind of hope that's true.
It's possible.
Is it actually coming to the Wii U? Because he had some problems because there's a lot of religious symbolism in the game,
yeah.
and Nintendo don't like that.
I thought they showed that off in the new Direct, maybe?
I didn't see it, but if so, awesome.
I am 90% sure that's official, though. So, 99, in fact. That's how sure I am. So, yeah, but that would make sense if Unity's there. It would make it an easier port for them, so there's that. Also, speaking of indie games, too, I just wanted to kind of derail for a second and say, I keep on hearing that Affordable Space Adventures is really good. I don't know if you guys have looked much into it.
I keep hearing that, too, but I don't know. Huh.
Although it seems like the way to play that game is co-op, and I wouldn't have anyone to do that right now, so... But, yeah, it does seem interesting. Maybe next time I do a game day, because I guess you can do, like, 3 people. Like, one person's, like, the pilot, one person's an engineer, and then, like, one person's, like, the space like a science officer?
Okay.
So, I don't know what the science officer does. I mean, engineer and pilot are obvious, but... I mean, you can play, like, 2-player co-op. I imagine it's got to have some sort of single player, too, but fun seems like it would be in co-op. So, yeah, that sounds interesting. And that was one indie game that was built ground up for the Wii U, so that does seem like it's a neat project if anyone is interested in supporting Wii U indie devs. And then, last story I have here, Project X Zone 2 is announced. Brave New World is the subtitle. And that was that Namco, Capcom, Sega... crossover turn-based RPG. Tom was playing that, like the first one. Remember, I think when we originally started the podcast.
I have it also, but I have never been able to finish it because there's so much to do. It's insane.
Yeah, I remember hearing it's a very long game, and also too doesn't it kind of limits your characters in weird ways, like the ones you can use. Right? Am I remembering? I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah, like different, like because it's like not time traveling, but like a universe traveling thing, and you can only use certain characters in certain like universes and that sort of thing. It's weird.
So it's like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it's very Kingdom Heartsy. Yeah, very much so.
So yeah, so that's coming too. So I guess a bunch of new announcements. I don't know. I mean, we're at the weird time of the year where like nothing really happens because we're so close to E3.
Yeah. Man, I really want to see some stuff on Jesus.
On Jesus? There's this thing called the Bible.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I really want to see some stuff on Rock Band 4 during E3. I really want to see it.
I'm sure there'll be something. It'll be interesting to see who they end up teaming up with to present it, because I'm sure it'll be shown at one of the conferences. Just which one? Who knows? They could go up with EA again because they were partnering with them before. They could go with Microsoft because Microsoft's always been big on harmonics. So it'll be interesting to see. Oh, actually, there's one more last piece of news. Phantom Dust, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's the one.
I think.
Yeah, that apparently is on indefinite hold, and the studio has been shuttered.
Yeah, I saw that.
So not much is known aside from like.
There has actually been a interview with the studio recently,
has it?
And I did read up on it. Essentially, when the preview that was shown at E3 happened,
Well, I guess that was entirely made by Microsoft.
that was entirely made by Microsoft, and even the studio had no idea what it was when it was being shown off, because it looks nothing like the assets they were making, or anything for that matter. And turns out that it was what they were making was an online only, like, MMO-esque title, kind of like Destiny, but more so centered around, like, you know, arena battles and not like a major story. And Microsoft was hyping it up as something completely different and just lying about it. And they just wanted to save face about the whole thing. Because so they shut them down. They're just like, all right, fine, get out. Well, you don't have it. They basically told Microsoft, when Microsoft was like, all right, this is what we need now. They were like, this is not what you told us to work on before in the past, and we don't have enough money to start this over. We need this much. And they were like, we're not going to give you that much. And so they were like, we can't do it. And they were like, all right, you're fired. And that's essentially how it happened.
Yeah, it seemed to be like it's pretty close to what I had read too. I mean, we all have seen one side of the story, obviously. So, well, you know, it's two sides of the story, and then the truth somewhere in between, as they say.
Obviously.
But yeah, the one side of the story I saw was something like that. Like originally, they had agreed on making a multiplayer game. Microsoft gave them a value for that, and Microsoft's like, "Oh, wait, we need single player because everyone likes single player stuff too. Like, we'll sell more if we have single player." And they're like, "Okay, but we need more money." And Microsoft's like, "No." And they're like, okay, well, that's not really going to work. And then Microsoft's like, oh, how about these new features? And they're like, are you going to give us more money? And they're like, no, not really. And they're like, okay, well, we're not going to be able to do that with the budget you gave us. And so eventually it came to a point where they did go up to Redmond and talk to Microsoft. And then a couple of days later, they're like, you guys are off the project. So I don't know. And Microsoft says that the game is still coming. We shall see. I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft turned over like the assets and stuff that they had to someone, and then, or maybe even took it in-house. Who knows? But I feel like at this point, Microsoft isn't as worried about it because they are sitting on like I feel like a bigger cache of first party, well, not first party, but system exclusives.
Yeah,
than that.
I mean, they really do have a lot.
So you lose that one that, you know, only excites so many people, and then, you know, you're still be sitting okay going forward. But yeah, it's interesting, and I feel like it'll be interesting to see what goes down at E3, because we're basically about 2 months out exactly at this point for E3. So like I said, everything's going to start, we're going to have the silence, like where no one says anything, and then it's going to be the barrage at E3. So it'll be really interesting to see what all ends up going down, because it's...
You think we'll have another Nintendo Direct before then?
I don't know. I'm inclined to say yes, but not like a normal Nintendo Direct. Like maybe a Splatoon-focused Direct, or... I
was thinking Splatoon also, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like what they did with Mario Kart last year. I don't think we'll have a full-fledged one until June, because, I mean, there's really... What do they have to announce? Like, nothing. There's nothing that they need to get out the door between now and then. I mean, they got the Smash Brothers stuff out. They got the... Mario Kart stuff out, and they got a lot of the Splatoon stuff out. Like I said, I can announce more Splatoon stuff if they'd like. They don't have to. Yeah. So, and I mean, even then, like, Mewtwo should be, at least the codes will be out. I don't know if it'll be available yet by the time that this podcast goes live. Yep. And then, you know, Mario Kart stuff is like a week after that. So it's going to be a decent month for DLC for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I can't see them doing any sort of major thing. And especially because NCL is going to be busy because they have the Xenoblade Chronicles X launch this month. So that's their big Wii U title. I don't know. Do we have any... I mean, Splatoon, obviously. I was trying to think of like the next major first-party 3DS game earlier today, too. And I don't know when that is.
I was just... Hold on. Because I was actually looking at this stuff earlier. Give me 1 second.
I mean, you have Animal Crossing in September.
Yeah.
You have Fire Emblem, but that's next year. So, I don't know.
The next and only major 3DS title I can think of, which isn't really major, is their Puzzles and Dragons, the Mario edition.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually May 22nd, so...
And the demo goes out at the end of this month, too, so...
That's true, yeah.
Well, like I mean,
that's like the last one I can think of, like, period, really.
Yeah, and, I mean, it's not too far past Nintendo to just announce a barrage of things at E3. I mean, that's kind of what they usually like to do anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure we'll hear a bunch about that in 2 months when that goes on. And then, I mean, we'll be able to speculate. I know we're going to have our E3 episode before E3, like our pre-E3, like, hype episode. So we'll get to go into a lot of speculation on, like, what we think is going to happen. But I would say at this point, like, no one really has anything that they need to announce. Mortal Kombat comes out, what, tonight?
It comes out in an hour.
Yeah. So, before this podcast is released. So,
dude, yeah. And apparently it's really good. And then next month, Witcher 3 comes out. And the HD version of Final Fantasy X and X-2 on PS4. Yay. And, like, the Project Cars game. And then Batman comes out. So it's like, all right, what else do we need? Nothing, really.
Batman's after E3, so that will be interesting.
Is it? I think it's actually during.
No, it's like a week after. I do remember this.
It's the 23rd.
Like, before the delay, it was supposed to be before E3, and then they pushed it back to after. Which is probably not a bad idea, considering we get buried by E3 news, and that happens to a lot of games that are stupidly released at that time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I guess that's what we're looking forward to.
But Witcher 3 is, like, in a few weeks, and that is a major game release. So, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure that'll be Game of the Year contender, like, without a doubt. If it's anything like Witcher 2.
I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this year's already shaping up for, like, a more competitive Game of the Year.
Oh, without a doubt. There are just so many things already released that are good enough. Like Bloodborne. Bloodborne's fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, like, you got Mortal Kombat coming up tonight, you know, you got Witcher 3 in a few weeks, Batman Arkham Knight. I mean, there's tons of stuff already.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, if you also count, like, 3DS stuff or handheld stuff, if they allow it, you know, Xenoblade, which you just got, they could be like, well, it's a re-release, but it's on 3DS now, so it's different, so it could be in the handheld category, you know, just technicality, that sort of thing. In which case, I could see that actually being quite up there, because it was when it first released.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very high contender. Like, there's a shit ton of things. Trying to think of any Wii titles we've really gotten this year that's...
Well, we had Kirby,
majors.
Which was,
Yeah, Kirby, but...
what else? Toad was last year.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one more? I'm trying to think. I feel like there might have been one more. I mean, we got Mario Party, which was,
Yeah.
Nothing major, I guess.
I mean, we'll be getting Splatoon soon, and if that's really good, there you go.
Yeah, Splatoon should be decent, and at least from what people played, I mean, there's definitely enough impressions of the multiplayer out there to at least kind of gauge that it will be decently well received. So, yeah,
we got Phantom Pain this year also.
Yeah, and that should be good too, assuming Kojima gets it out on time. So, yeah.
Yeah, and there's one other thing, news-related wise, and none of us really care about it. I kind of am alright with some of the games, but there's a new Call of Duty that was announced, and they're going back to Black Ops.
Oh, I did see that.
They announced it via the weirdest thing ever. They announced it via, like, Snapchat, like, few-second videos that you had to piece together to get the whole trailer. It is weird. And they also used, like, an ARG thing where, like, if you had the 360 version of Black Ops 2, which a lot of people still do because it's considered one of the better Call of Duties and it's still played competitively, they changed the signs around to, like, this essentially QR code that you scan, and it took you to the Snapchat videos that I was talking about that pieced together into the trailer. So that was the way they, like, tried to cookie crumb people to finding, oh yeah, Black Ops 3 announcement. And then when all of them were found, that's when everyone found out about the announcement, and they released an official video. So that's pretty cool. And I mean, like, Black Ops 1 was like Vietnam and like jumping back and forth between different times, so that was really interesting. And 2 was like super in the future, so it's like, all right, well, where are you gonna go with this one? Last one had mechs. How are you gonna stand up against mechs? I'm
More
actually
Max.
kind of interested.
Super
'cause
Max.
Honestly, I think the Black Ops series is probably the better
Vietnam
of the Call of
Max.
Duty series.
Vietnam Max,
so,
that'd be great.
yeah.
You know what's funny is I find myself every year saying to myself, okay, Call of Duty has to be done. What else can they do? And then they pull this shit, and I'm like, so that's what they're doing.
It's
this
like
year.
me with Sonic every time a new game's announced. But that's like twice a year usually. And they're like, oh god, they announced another 2 Sonic games. What were they thinking? Isn't Sonic dead yet? And then it comes out and it's like, oh yeah, it's still dead. It's still dead. Why are people buying this? This needs to stop.
Yep.
So, maybe Nintendo can just buy Sonic and then just put it out of its misery and relegate it. Maybe then, like, a decade...
Or maybe they'll make better games for
A decade, people will be like, oh man, Sonic was so great in Smash Brothers. I wish he had his own games. Just erase them from history. That'd be fantastic. So, and I did cast my vote for Smash Brothers vote thing.
Who'd you vote?
I decided to go with something unique that I didn't think a lot of people would, but I thought would be a really cool character.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to go with Mike Jones from Star Tropics.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting one.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, he's a pretty cool character. I mean, he has like a yo-yo. I don't know if you guys ever played the game. It plays like a lot like Legend of Zelda, except it's set in like a modern-ish, like tropical setting.
Yeah,
So,
I've played it before.
yeah.
And remember, that's the one that Nick actually beat, if I remember correctly.
Nick beat Star Tropics? No.
No, he beat Master. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
what?
I forgot. I'm sorry.
I don't even own Star Tropics.
Dude, play Star
You
Tropics. It's
should
really
own Star
good.
Tropics.
Yeah.
And it's one of
Buy
those
me a
weird
copy.
games, too, where, like, it's a Nintendo-made game, but it was never released originally in Japan. Like, it was made in Japan for the American audience, and it was released here and not there. So
It's weird.
Yeah, so I think that makes it kind of cool. And, yeah, but the kid has, like, yo-yos and all sorts of different weapons, so you can make a pretty cool, like, unique fighting set for him, I think. So, yeah, it'd be interesting.
Unique fighting set for him.
I mean, I guess you could make him, like, a NES clone or something, too, if you really wanted to.
True.
But, no, he's pretty cool. He's got, like, what's he have? Like, yo-yo, slingshot, and I think it's, like, lasers and stuff, too, if I remember. And then he's, like, I don't
it
know.
goes to weird places.
He gets on, like, submarines.
He goes to some weird places.
And then the second game, he's doing, like, time traveling. So I've got, like, pizza for Cleopatra. And then he's in, like, London with Jack the Ripper. It's in Sherlock Holmes. It's crazy. So I never finished the second one, though. I don't remember how far I got. But the first one was a pretty difficult game. I was very happy with it. But the second one, they went to, like, a weird isometric view, which made it just a little bit harder to, like, play. But it's still a neat game. I do recommend it. It should be on at least the Wii Virtual Console. I don't believe it's on the Wii U Virtual Console. So, yeah. So there's that. I don't know. Anything else you guys want to talk about, or is it wrap-up time?
I think it's wrap-up time.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us this week.
Thank you for everyone
Who's listened to us. Yeah. And thank you, everyone, for listening to us this week. Don't forget to download our episodes from iTunes, from Stitcher, or from the website doublegaming.com. Don't forget to leave us a review. Share the podcast with the friends. I don't know. Whatever you can do to spread the word. We always appreciate it. And don't forget you can join us on Facebook or on Twitter at GMECRUNCH. Brandon, do you have anything to send out on?
No, not really. Trying to figure out what to do with YouTube now, since their new policy is coming into effect soon. I don't know what the hell to do anymore. Like, have you guys seen it? I forgot to mention this. This is news also. Yeah, the new policy.
I think I did. Which one was it?
They're gonna start having it as a paid service to remove all ads from everyone's videos.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not paying for that, but whatever.
So either the ads are there or you pay to have them removed?
Yep.
Like, for just people watching videos? Is that what you mean?
Yep.
That's kind of... I don't mind. Like, there's certain...
And not only that, but, like, for the people that subscribe to that sort of thing, and are also content creators, they're given the option if they want to put stuff behind a paywall where only people that are also subscribed to that service will be able to see those videos. So it could potentially cause some problems.
Yeah, it does sound weird. I mean, like, I'll say what I always say about the YouTube thing, though, and that is... YouTube is its own entity,
Yeah.
And if you want to be on YouTube, you have to play by the rules, even if you don't agree with them.
The ones that change every 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, as for the ads on YouTube, like, I don't mind them most of the time. I really hate the ones that, like, force you to watch 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. Those are the one, like, the annoying Geico ones that I've been playing all the time. I'm like, oh my god, I hate this commercial so much. But if it's like, hey, watch 5 seconds and then skip, I don't mind those ones. And honestly, there are times where I'll watch those and be like, oh, this is actually kind of a cool trailer. I don't mind this at all. And obviously, like, the ones that are, like, the pop-up, like, banners, no, those are fine. Yeah. They can stay all the time. I don't mind those at all. But, yeah, it's just, no, I don't know. There's enough ads on everything as it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Nick, you have anything to send out on?
Yes. As I mentioned before, I said I streamed on Sunday. It's going to become kind of a regular thing. I'm going to post when I stream, probably on the Facebook and my own personal Twitter, which you can follow me at The Mechanic on Twitter, which is at THEMECHANICK. Mm-hmm. Mostly going to be streaming on my PS4. Not sure when I'm going to stream this Sunday. Eventually, we'll be streaming Shovel Knight when that comes out, but I'll figure it out before it goes up, and I'll tweet and I'll post about it.
Maybe we could get together one week and like both stream something through like the share play thing, where like you're streaming and pass the controller to me or pass it to Mike or something.
Sure,
and you could take over playing and try to do something like that. I think it could be fun. Yeah. I think it'd be neat.
I mean, hey, maybe we can beat Bloodborne for Nick.
Yeah, I could
play Borderlands pre-sequel with you and force you to play it.
I mean, I don't have anything against it. I mean, I just feel like it was a useless sequel, and I feel like the Telltale Games version of Borderlands is much better. It's fantastic, and you should play that.
I will. But so yeah, you can on my Twitter. I pinned to the top of my Twitter the Twitch page that you can subscribe to me at, and it'll email you and let you know whenever I'm broadcasting, so feel free to do so.
All right. And with that said, my name is Mike Anastasia. You can find me on the internet. I am Clash of Penguin on Twitter or your favorite gaming consoles. And until next week, game on!
Game on.
Also, great excuse to play Xenoblade music at the end of this podcast. So, yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I actually have to go. My father needs me for something. I don't know what the hell he needs. But
okay.
So I'm going to get off of here. And
you're going to get off? Is that because you were talking about the children?
Yeah, definitely. I'll talk to you guys later. See you around, man.
Bye.
See you.